The restaurant was warm and full of laughter. Plates clinked, and the smell of expensive food filled the air. People sat at polished tables, talking and enjoying their meals. An elderly black woman stood at the entrance. She clutched her small purse and took a deep breath. Her coat was old, a little worn at the edges. She looked around, unsure. The restaurant was fancy, too fancy. She hesitated but stepped inside. A waiter spotted her from across the room. His smile faded. He was a middle-aged man, with sharp eyes and a stiff posture. His uniform was neat, his chin high. As she walked forward, he moved toward her, his face turning cold. She stopped in front of him. "Excuse me, sir," she said softly. "I'd like a table." The waiter glanced at her coat, then at her shoes. His lips curled into a smirk. His eyes held no kindness. "Are you lost?" he asked, his voice dripping with doubt. The elderly woman shook her head. "No, I'm not lost," she said. Her voice was calm but firm. "I'd like to order a bowl of chili, please." The waiter raised an eyebrow. He crossed his arms and let out a small laugh. "A bowl of chili," he repeated. His voice was loud. People at nearby tables turned to look. He scanned her from head to toe, eyes lingering on her simple clothes. "That's all you can afford, huh?" he said with a smirk. A few customers chuckled. Someone whispered. The woman's cheeks burned. She clutched her purse tighter. The waiter shook his head. "This place is not for people like you," he said. His tone was sharp. "We serve real meals here, expensive meals." The woman's lips parted slightly, as if she wanted to speak, but she said nothing. She just lowered her gaze. The waiter flicked his hand toward the door. "There's a cheap diner down the street," he said. "Maybe they have chili for you." More laughter. The woman's hands trembled, but she stayed still. Her eyes held sadness, but not surprise, as if she had faced this kind of treatment before. The waiter turned away, already moving toward another table. To him she was invisible, unimportant. She took a deep breath, ready to leave. But then, the restaurant doors swung open. A young man in a suit walked in. His confident steps echoed through the room. And everything changed in an instant. The restaurant doors swung open, and a cold breeze rushed in. A young man stepped inside. He wore a sharp black suit and walked with confidence. His eyes scanned the room. The staff noticed him immediately. Their posture straightened. Their smiles widened. The waiter, still smirking from his last comment, turned to greet him. But the moment his eyes met the young man's face, he froze. His smirk disappeared. The young man's gaze moved past the waiter and landed on the elderly woman. His expression changed. His eyes widened. Shock, then concern. "Mom!" His voice was clear and strong. The entire restaurant went silent. The waiter's face turned pale. His mouth fell open slightly. He looked from the young man to the woman, his mind racing. "Mom!" The elderly woman looked up, surprised. She hadn't expected to see him here. Her lips trembled. "Son?" she whispered. The young man rushed toward her. He reached for her hands, his grip gentle, his eyes filled with worry. "What are you doing here?" he asked. "Why didn't you tell me?" The waiter stepped back, his hands suddenly clammy. His heart pounded. This couldn't be happening. His son, the owner's mother. The young man turned to the staff. "Who was serving her?" he asked, his tone sharp. No one spoke. Then, slowly, all eyes turned to the waiter. The waiter swallowed hard. His face turned red. His hands trembled. He felt the weight of every stare in the room. The young man's eyes darkened. He stepped closer to the waiter. His voice was low but firm. "Did you just insult my mother?" The waiter stuttered. I didn't know," he said quickly. "I thought she was just—" He stopped himself. His throat felt dry. "Just what?" the young man asked, his jaw tight. The waiter lowered his head. He had no excuse, no way out. The young man took a deep breath. His voice was colder now. "You judged her by her clothes, by her age, by her skin." He shook his head. and you humiliated her." The waiter opened his mouth, but no words came out. He had been so sure of himself just minutes ago, so confident in his cruelty, but now he felt small. Then, the young man spoke again. This time, his words hit like a hammer. "I own this restaurant now," he said. "And you?" He paused, letting the silence stretch. "You're fired." Gasps filled the room. The waiter's legs felt weak. His world crashed around him. He wanted to beg, to explain, but he knew it was useless. His son, his own flesh and blood, had seen his true face, and there was no undoing that. The waiter stood frozen. His heart pounded. His own son had fired him. Shame washed over him. He had spent years looking down on people like her. Now, he was the one being cast aside. The elderly woman looked at her son. Her eyes were kind, but tired. She sighed. "Don't be like him," she said softly. "Show kindness, even when others don't." The young man nodded. He turned to the other staff. "From now on, everyone is welcome here. No matter what," his voice was firm. "This place will be known for respect, not judgment." The other employees nodded in agreement. The atmosphere in the restaurant shifted. Something had changed. The young man pulled out a chair for his mother. "Sit, Mom," he said gently. "Let's eat together." She smiled. For the first time that day, she felt truly seen. She picked up the spoon, dipped it into her warm bowl of chili, and took a slow, peaceful bite. No whispers, no laughter, no humiliation, just dignity. And in the corner of the room, the former waiter stood alone. His actions had cost him more than just his job. They had cost him respect, because in the end, kindness is remembered, and cruelty is never forgotten. Life teaches us lessons in the most unexpected ways. Kindness costs nothing, but it means everything. What would you have done in this situation? Let us know in the comments. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and remember, kindness always wins. Love.